I wish I had a bus story to lead us in, but I don't this time, unfortunately. I have no new bus stories to open the show with.
Well, the great thing is, all you have to say is, "Hey, I live in Vegas," and just
Right.
stop.
But
There you go. There you go.
Welcome to a very rudderless After Dark with me, Eric, Arlen, and Hunter. Say hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Um,
So, anyways, Moon Knight.
Nope.
I mean,
Nope.
That's more of a topic than I had. So
No. Here's what we're gonna do. Hunter, you have 5 minutes, and then
that's way too long.
It's too long. So, anyways, you can all thank me for the Moon Knight show. I made this happen. Clearly, this was all my doing.
I mean, here's the thing. Like, I just came off of a couple years where, like, I'm pretty sure that me, Joe, and Sean had willed a couple things into actual existence because there was just no fucking, like, I couldn't believe that we were like, yeah, it'd be nice to see Tammy the T-Rex, like, uncut and, like, without even, in the back of my head, I'm like, that shit will never fucking happen. And then it happened like 6 months later. So at this point, I'm a believer in terms of people just willing things into existence.
Manifestation.
I created Moon Knight.
And I manifested a show based off one of my favorite characters that died immediately. I did that, but
you did that.
Yeah,
that's because you didn't believe enough, Arlen.
Wait,
well, who did I have to believe in exactly? Eric.
Oh no.
Where did I place my trust, Eric?
To be fair, you were manifesting something doomed to fail just by the company it was owned by.
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately.
My trust.
It's like,
well, and that was even outside of your control because that was just stupid.
Someone looked at a spending report and went, "Whoa!" And then
and then they found out that there was a zero tacked on that wasn't supposed to be.
And then that was the end of Swamp Thing. Like it wasn't a ratings disaster. Like there was nothing about the show that killed the show. It was purely a business decision.
And
it's so cruel. Like,
and the extra joke is like, I don't think it exists. I'm pretty sure the show doesn't actually exist now after the fact. You can't find it.
Yeah, I think it's on HBO Max, isn't it?
No.
Nope.
It's not.
Nope.
If you wanted to watch the show, I don't think you could. If you wanted to.
Whatever happened to them showing it on the CW again? Or they were going to show it on the CW?
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, they were going to.
But they never did. Oh my god. I wonder if it was a case where like they had to pay people so much because they had so much money, and if they try and repeat it, yeah. Oh my god.
Okay, you want to know the hilarious thing? You can watch the '90s show that they did right now if you want to.
That's so weird.
I'll say I'm googling the streaming locations, and like I have to see that with my own eyes that this is just nowhere.
Like. What? It's so. What the fuck?
Like
it's on like CW Seed. Like that's
okay.
It's on Amazon.
Yeah, but who's gonna? Oh, everything's on Amazon.
Yeah.
It also says HBO Max.
It says that, but I've tried many times.
Looks like the link isn't working. You fucking assholes.
Yep.
So
I can't believe that. That is insane.
So the additional humor of that means it's on their servers. It's there already. They've uploaded it.
Looks like they've leased it out to Amazon, so they're not going to have it on theirs.
Well, it might be a case where it's also available on HBO Max in other countries.
Yeah.
Could be. And on the Amazon
That's the thing. Warner Bros. Is fucking weird because Warner Bros. For a long time when they had like the fucking DC Universe app, like the Dark Knight would cycle on and off of it.
It's still doing. They're still doing that.
Does that shit like that?
It's like, pre-existing deals.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I wonder if there was something for Swamp Thing.
It's like there'll be 3 months where you can watch all the hair. No, I don't think. I don't. And on the Amazon thing, everything is on Amazon.
Yeah,
the only place you could watch Daredevil outside of Netflix was and continues to be on Amazon.
Yeah.
So
it's really weird.
That makes no sense.
Well, I think it's because it's just a marketplace essentially. Like it's just
Yeah, it still seems weird to me. It seems weird
Yeah.
that they wouldn't have sold that on Blu-ray, per
Also,
se.
I'm pretty sure they didn't they?
Did they?
Daredevil
Yeah.
or Swamp Thing?
Daredevil.
Swamp
You
Thing
can buy the
definitely
first
not.
season on Blu-ray.
Who cares about Swamp Thing?
How dare you? How fucking dare you?
I fucking love Swamp Thing, and that show was doomed to fail.
Yeah, now we
No, it
all
was
have to.
absolutely.
I can't believe we're in a universe where there's 3 seasons of Titans, but Swamp Thing died on arrival.
I can't
It's
believe we're in a
just-
universe where there might be a 9th season of The Flash.
Oh my god.
Like,
It's amazing to me. I mean, we were joking earlier today, or I was pointing out earlier today, like the most popular DC characters are Shazam, Peacemaker, and Harley Quinn.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Okay, that's the thing. Like, I was talking to somebody about this the other day. Like, the most successful and most popular Warner Bros. DC things are all the fucking outliers. And
Yeah.
I'm throwing the Snyder Cut in there because that was on HBO Max, and like it was a thing they wanted nothing to do with, and like
Sure.
people gobbled that
Yeah.
shit up too. But like all of their shit that they keep pushing is just fucking eating shit.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean,
They
and
don't-
even that,
they-
I would put that
can't
under the
believe-
Aquaman umbrella there, where
I
it's,
can't believe
like
Doom Patrol is still trucking along as well as it is. I
It's
think
amazing.
I think the fact that it was Emmy nominated is helping, which blew my mind.
Yeah.
But like Doom Patrol is great, Peacemaker's great, fucking Swamp Thing was great. Like all the shit that they don't really care like to be like Suicide Squad was great too. Like fucking
Yeah.
Bloodsport is now a household name because of James Gunn. But like you can't keep Henry Cavill as Superman. Are you fucking with me? Like
well, unfortunately, that's the sign of who was in charge at the time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
theme park people are bad. I don't know.
Maybe.
Maybe. Possibly.
Unless
I mean,
it's
and,
Walt Disney, our favorite person on earth.
And with the
He's
Cavill
totally
thing,
bad.
with
You know,
the
okay,
Cavill,
I want to bring this up because it happened today, I think, or at least the news happened, and it's regarding Disney. A friend of mine sent me news that the WWE is now like being broadcast through a Disney Plus service in Indonesia, and he was like, I'm like, no,
No.
I don't believe that this is the
It'll never
direction.
happen.
I can't
No.
I have trouble accepting that reality of like Disney buying the WWE because the question remains: what the fuck would Disney do with it?
Oh, put them in the park, obviously.
I mean, they would censor the hell out of it. Like, I mean, not the WWE, from what you told us, hasn't already done it, but
I love the idea of Disney censoring the WWE by just cutting constantly to every move. You don't see anything land.
Yes.
Well, no, the WWE's already been pretty bad about erasing their own history, but like Disney would scrape entire sections of timelines of like the 90s. Good fucking god, that all that trash fire TV that they were doing, that Jerry Springer bullshit, it wouldn't be allowed to exist on a Disney platform.
Yeah, that woman would have never given birth to a hand.
yeah,
Exactly.
I mean,
That's the kind of
my
stuff
personal favorite moment wouldn't be there. We would never get to see Randy Orton lick Stephanie's face ever again.
Exactly. All the rapey nonsense, the weird like sexual stuff, all the violence, and like all the other taboo shit they were just super proud of doing. All the incest angles, like Disney would scrub entire years of that. Why is it even worth it to them at that point?
Yeah.
Well, why is it even worth keeping at this point? Let's be honest.
I mean,
I 100% honest. Like,
Yeah.
nobody needs that.
Really,
Nobody needs that.
It has become like it's gotten to the point now where it's negating its own existence. Where it's like, I think the world would be a better place if you just went away.
Yeah, if this company went under, we'd all probably be happier. Honestly.
Yeah.
Even
The
people
world
who
would be a
like
better
wrestling
place.
would be happier.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the crazy thing. There's good wrestling now, and people are still like, I'm going to watch WWE. It's like, you don't need to anymore.
Oh,
like,
I tell my friends, I'm like, do you have a WWE Network subscription? They're like, yeah. I'm like, fucking why? Like,
There's no
why are
point.
you giving them money? Like, that just seems so foolish to me.
Mm.
Because it's the
My
same
childhood.
reason. Exactly. It's the same reason people continue to watch it when it's on the air.
Right. Yeah,
So,
or they complain about The Mandalorian, or I mean Boba
God.
Fett.
Let's
All right,
move on
well,
before I start talking about Star Wars fans.
well, no, actually, that is something I wanted to touch on briefly because Connor, you haven't gotten to see the newest episode of Boba Fett, have you?
No, but I know exactly what's in it because,
Okay.
like, as soon as I heard about it, I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And then just went and investigated myself.
All right, you all know that I've been enjoying Book of Boba Fett. I mean, I'm not going to say I've enjoyed it as much as Mandalorian, but I've still been enjoying it.
Chill.
Yeah.
I know. I also really like Last Jedi. Take that as for what you will.
Wow, you like women?
Mhm.
I'm unsubscribing from this podcast.
Having gotten to see how many episodes has there been in Boba Fett? Is it 5?
Five.
I think it's
This is the
5.
5th episode.
Okay.
Yes.
I really think they would have had a stronger season if they would have just told the story of Boba Fett with the Tusken Raiders.
Mhm.
Yep. That'd
I
be
think
fucking awesome.
I think it's far too much trying to do this old man in back to tank and now old man out of back to tank and being a crime lord.
Here's the
See,
thing.
they
That
just
show, I'm not totally up to speed on Boba Fett yet. Like, I caught up on
Yeah.
this, and I'll bring up a very good point afterwards. Like, that show doesn't sound very fucking interesting. And it's a real big problem when someone's like, "Hey man, on the Book of Boba Fett, the show about Boba Fett, they brought back Din," and I went, "Shut the fuck up." And then I went and I watched every scene he was in immediately, like basically the whole episode. And that's what got me to pay attention to that show right away. Because I'm sorry, but the Book of Boba Fett, even from the first episode that I liked, is not a very interesting show. And I'm sorry that we're trying to make Boba Fett a thing, but
Go ahead, Hunter.
Here's my kind of counter argument to that is like
Mm.
I feel like when you're bringing back Boba Fett, you kind of have to do something crazy with him because it's like at this point,
well, and
people
I think
are
that's
like,
the problem. I think that's the problem is that Boba Fett has been this impenetrable like piece of Star Wars that people are like, dude, fucking do something with Boba Fett. Stop putting him in video games. Stop putting him in comics. Like, do something with him on screen.
no,
At
put
30
him
years
in video
of that-
games.
Well, no,
Yes.
I'm saying don't just put him in video games. Like that's what he seemed to have a glass ceiling of like where he can appear.
Yeah.
And so finally they're like, yes, we'll commit to, something on screen, a live action Boba Fett. And that's after 30 years of people asking for that. And it's a show where he's like, as you just said, it's an old man who gets upset in between breakfast naps and dinner naps. Like it's it's a man who's just like, leave me the fuck alone.
Well, I mean, go ahead, Hunter. Sorry.
I don't know. Just relating this to what you said about the video game thing and like stuff like we're coming off of 1313 footage leaking, and you're like, and I'm looking at that, and I'm like, they've tried so fucking hard with this character, and I'm enjoying Book of Boba Fett, but I'm looking at it, I'm like, man, this could be way better. It's not. I don't think it's perfect by any means, but it's
no, yeah. I mean, it's a thing I said earlier today where it's like, this is low quality, but it doesn't have to be perfect. And we've had this discussion many times.
No,
like,
but it's Star Wars, Arlen. You don't understand.
Right. It's
All
Star
Star
Wars.
Wars
So it
has to be amazing.
Star Wars can't be just okay. It has to be like the best or the absolute worst. And I think that's the problem people are having with the show is like they don't know how to react to it just being like okay.
Yeah. It's weird.
It's what I said in the chat earlier, and it's what I'd said in the beginning when they first announced Book of Boba Fett, was that I think this is just them being like, well, let's see if we'll get the same response to Boba Fett as we did with Din and Grogu. Like, let's see if we can go a season without them and see if people like it as much. Oh God, they don't like it as much. Put him back in.
So,
oh my God, and that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, as soon as someone pointed out to me that Din was back for like a whole episode, I was like, holy fuck, I'm gonna go figure this. I'm gonna go see for myself right now. And like, it's a real testament to like how much better the Mandalorian was at all times. Seemingly, it's great, and like the fact that this dude swoops back in for an episode, you're like, oh fuck yes. And it's also a lot of shit happens with that character in one fucking episode, and now I want Mandalorian season 3 like right now, and we have to get through Book of fucking sleepy man.
There's a lot. Okay, there's a lot. There's a lot to process here, Eric. I think you're correct. Like, I do think they're testing it out and like trying to give themselves time to figure out what they're doing with Mandalorian season 3. But I think what Boba Fett showed me and what the new episode, which is basically like Mandalorian 2.5, what it pointed out to me is that, and I can't really pinpoint what it is specifically. There's a character, I guess, density about what they've built up with the Mandalorian and the way in which it carves its own individual view of Star Wars that is so specific to that show. And I think it's part of why I enjoyed it so much more than what I've been seeing with Book of Boba Fett. And there's just like a sense that you are getting so much information from a given minute of it that it made me miss The Mandalorian. And I had to sort of think, well, why would that be? Why is Boba Fett not filling that same void for me? And I think it's because it really does feel like it's, and they've only had 2 shows, so it's not hard to say this. It's the first one that feels like, oh, this is just the Star Wars that you know. And I think that if I had an expectation going in, it's that I wanted more of the seedy crime world of Star Wars, and they're trying to do that. I just don't think they're doing nearly as good of a job of filling out those details, because I think that they feel hindered in terms of tone. They don't want to be the same tone as The Mandalorian, and they, as a result, they can't fill in those details as well as they want to. And I think the places where I liked Boba Fett the most, something that one of you already said already, is the stuff with the Sand People, where it felt like they were carving something new, and they were saying something new about Star Wars through a lens that we had already seen before. And sticking with that, as Dances with Wolves as it might have felt for some people, would have at least felt like we hadn't seen before within Star Wars. I think it lost propulsion once we zoom away from that storyline, which was so fascinating.
I think one of the other things The Mandalorian had going for it is it had Filoni tapping into Rebels and what, Clone Wars and all this other stuff that was beloved by like Star Wars fans.
You know what? You kind of just made a thought pop in my head. Like, Boba Fett is like, we're seeing, it's kind of what Arlen just said, like, but also, like, there's a thought I just had where, like, Boba Fett is so much cooler in The Mandalorian Season 2 because he is, like, part of that pool that Arlen is, like, talking about, where, like, The Mandalorian drives by Star Wars as it's happening, like as it is, and he's like, sup, I have a kid, I need to get from here to here. And, like, he's stopping and asking celebrities in the Star Wars universe for fucking directions, basically. Like, so he keeps coming across, like, Ahsoka, Boba Fett, like, Bo-Katan, like, all these, like, relevant people for this time period, and it's almost like, it's like Forrest Gumpy in the way he's doing it, like, he's just bouncing from his story.
But even more so, like what Arlen was saying, is it's Boba Fett is presenting us Star Wars that we knew or we know,
like,
and Mandalorian was presenting people with Star Wars that did exist, that people enjoyed, but not as many people saw, because I'm sorry, I don't have time to watch 22 episodes a season of Clone Wars to find the like 5 really good episodes. And same thing with Rebels. Like, you know, I'm sure they're all good, and I know there's guides out there.
I can tell you right now, without even having watched all of Clone Wars, what the best episodes are based on what I've seen and what I've heard. The last like 5 or 7, like in that final season they did. I've seen some of that, and that is some fucking good Star Wars, I have to say.
Well, yeah, that was all the stuff that was pulling directly from the Mandalorian Wars.
It is so fucking good. And like, there's a moment in that where Vader visits the ship where he thinks Ahsoka died, and he picks up one of her lightsabers, looks up, and the sun shines a light through his helmet, so you see his eyes. And he has a moment, he shuts them and walks away, and I'm like, fucking whoa. Like, he doesn't say a word, and he buries one of his students basically in his head, and then basically leaves more of himself behind in that one little moment. And yeah, like Clone Wars is so fucking good.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, you got to see Ben Kenobi fight fucking Darth Maul. Like, yeah, it just it like I said, Mandalorian was pulling from Filoni's mind essentially, because he is everything that people who claim to love Star Wars actually is. Like he's that guy who like knows all of the history and knows what to pull and how to pull.
He's such a worthy successor to like if Lucas had a throne. Like he's so, because like he does what George did with stuff we know, with stuff we don't. Like he comes up with all this appropriate new stuff to like carry a whole generation of this franchise forward, and I don't think he's appreciated.
Well, let's be honest. Lucas was responsible for creating the world and directing the first movie.
I mean, I would go even further. I would say Filoni, like, one of his best talents is taking things that like were weird idiosyncrasies within Lucas that didn't always work. Sometimes it worked spectacularly, but sometimes it didn't. His like obsession with 1950s and early 60s culture didn't work so well in the prequels. In this newest episode of Boba Fett, it's like Filoni is doubling down on that. I thought the episode was written by George Lucas because of how much it felt.
Oh no, with Dexter Jester in it?
No, but it felt like a love letter to George Lucas and his like hot rod fetish is the best way I can describe it.
Oh, you mean episode 3 or 4, the one that had the space mods in it.
Well, no, this newest episode, there's a lot of time spent on like what are essentially car terms.
Oh,
like
all right.
It's very Star Wars up, but I was like, did he write this so he could show it to George and have George like nerd out on him so that he could have that reaction with his like dad figure?
Cars. I really like cars.
I like speeders better.
If George Lucas, Jerry Seinfeld, and Jay Leno hung out for a day, they would be just talking about like old 50s hot rods for like 24 hours straight while drinking coffee.
In between filleting each other.
Right, yes.
I'd see, that's the thing. Like, I took from this newest episode of Mandalorian that this was more Filoni being like, hey, this is something you should have done with episode 1. Hey, these are the things you could have done, but you didn't because you didn't know what you were doing. I mean, it wasn't that harsh, but...
Right. He made the ships look like hot rods in episode 1. He didn't explain why that's cool or why that's interesting.
Exactly.
There is like it does open up the ocean of questions of like, the fuck happened to everybody in the 30 years between episodes 3 and 4? Like, why is the universe a fucking trash heap now? Like
because of the Empire?
Yeah, I mean,
like,
I'm just so like, I'm like, wow, the Empire is so shitty at just like public image. They're like, man, all these cool ass ships. Nah, you'll never see one of these fucking things again. Drab everything. Like everything's just this fucking depressing, trashy look to it. Like
getting the thing that sounds like a screaming elf. One other quick side thing.
No, you can't drop that on me and then expect me to.
Well, what? That's what the TIE fighters sound like. Yeah,
it's so perfect.
I don't know if you guys had noticed, because I didn't realize it until I read about it. But that one point, the thing that Mando asked the Jawas to get for him, that pole looking thing. Yeah. That was the thing that Luke, Leia, and Han tried to use to stop the trash compactors.
I did notice that. Yeah, I was like, oh wow.
It looked familiar, but I was like, huh. And then I was reading an article. I'm like, oh my god. Like, how did I not realize that? But yeah, I thought that was really cool.
Big fan.
He also
I know.
flew his what the fuck was that cruiser? He flew his new ship down one of the areas from the pod racing.
Yep.
Oh well, yeah. He also had him. He told him to go through Beggar's Canyon, the place that Luke said he would. He would
that game.
Yeah, he would bullseye Womp Rats in his T-180. Yeah. But yeah, it's.
I love how it's it's again,
I forgot how much I missed him.
I was actually worried about, like, how are they going to do this reluctant man who would be king thing? How are they going to make that work for Mando? It's like they did it perfectly. He wants to be a Mandalorian so much that he's like, fine, I'll be the fucking king. I'll be in charge if it means I get my honor back. Okay,
Mandalorian Jesus.
Yeah,
right.
He's gonna go do his Jehovah's Witness thing and go wash himself in the lakes of Lake Minnetonka. And yeah, it's, I don't know. It makes me excited to see what they're gonna do with season 3 of Mandalorian, and I really hope Boba Fett can pull it out in the last 2 episodes, because I think it's only 7 episodes for the season. I really hope they can pull it out, like, because I would love to be like, that was worth it, because I feel like they've been planting all these things throughout the season, but I don't know if they're going to pay off. Like,
I mean, I'm hopeful for many reasons. I've heard that in interviews, Ming-Na Wen, I don't know what just crawled in my throat there. Apparently, she was like, at the end of the last episode, you're going to look at the entire season very differently.
Okay.
And that gives me quite a bit of hope and interest in what's going on. That we're going to see a perspective shift of some sort, and a lot of stuff will make sense. I really hope she wasn't just bullshitting us, because that would be
I just want to see Boba Fett ride the Rancor into a battle.
Yeah, that's the thing. They're setting up so many things, and like, very like heavy fandom people are like, Kira from Solo is gonna show up, and like all this stuff. It's like,
that's not a movie.
And part of me is like, I don't know about that, but then I'm thinking to myself, would I like to see Emilia Clarke in anything? Yes. After the last time I saw her in something that wasn't so good.
No.
Yeah, I would like to see her in something good. I'd like to see.
I don't want to be reminded of the dark times.
Well, wait. What about that? What about
I had hope.
That movie she was in that like had that terrible
Terminator
twist?
Genesis?
No, it's the like they presented it as a romantic comedy in the trailers, and from what somebody. I can't remember what the twist was. Was it that the dude has been dead the whole time, or was her brother?
Henry Golding is... Okay, I think we talked about this on an episode. Henry Golding is a ghost from the beginning of the movie.
What?
Yeah.
Yes. Or no, maybe not the very beginning, because at some point Emilia Clarke, she gets a heart transplant.
And it was his heart. That's it.
Yes. Yes, that's the reveal at the end. Is that
okay? Hold on.
Yeah.
Is the mechanics of the ghost existing? Is this because she got the heart transplant that she can see the ghost?
She can see his ghost. Yeah,
that is the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life. Not gonna lie.
It is very much so. It's only dumb because it's not a horror movie. In horror movies, that's like a well-worn idea and trope that's in so many of them. But because it's a romantic comedy, it's like, well, that's fucking dumb.
Yeah, it's stupid.
But it can be, but a hand that moves on its own and is the result of a serial killer, or it's transplanted and then it goes off killing people. That's fine. We can make 15 movies about that.
Do they ever make fun of the fact that he's a ghost, or is it just like played super straight?
That's the thing.
Like changes things.
It's entirely a mystery box style reveal. You don't learn this until the closing of the movie.
That is so stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, and then there's like a year later flashback, and she's like happy, she's living her life, and everything's together, and she sings "Last Christmas," which is the title of the movie, and it's "Last Christmas, you gave me your heart."
Yeah, I'm aware.
Yeah.
Thank you for the addition,
that was my awful singing voice. You will never be hearing that again.
It's beautiful. It's like an angel.
And at that point I was groaning, but I was also smiling, and I was just like, I don't know how to feel about this. I'm angry but I also enjoyed myself at the same time.
I think anger is the right emotion.
Yeah.
I think the bigger question here is, does she bone down on the ghost?
Yeah, she get
There are implications. Yeah.
the ghost blowjobs. Is it like
ghost jobs?
Dan Aykroyd somewhere going, yup.
Well, it's like American Werewolf, where
oh my god,
she turns into Henry Golding, and she just yeah, exactly.
A walking meatloaf, Dan. Anyways,
Yep.
So
where were we?
Somewhere in Star Wars.
Moon Knight. Back to Moon Knight. So the trailer was actually pretty good.
Yeah,
no, it was. All jokes aside, the trailer looks good. I mean, what am I going to say? Am I going to say I'm not going to see it? It's a
Marvel show. I'm going to watch it regardless.
Yeah.
It's a Marvel show based on fucking Moon Knight with Oscar Isaac. I don't know jack shit about Moon Knight, but you have me in, okay?
Exactly. Also, it's the only Marvel thing we're going to get in between now and Strange.
Doctor Strange.
And I'm going to be rabid by the time Strange comes out, especially if they hadn't been putting Moon Knight out. So, like, yeah, of course I'm going to watch it. You kidding me?
You know what's funny is like because No Way Home just happened, and like I keep hearing about Doctor Strange, and like they had the trailer at the end. Like my brain was like, "Oh yeah, it's like just right around the corner." It's like, no, it's fucking next year, isn't it?
Yeah, it's summertime, isn't it?
Motherfucker.
Yeah, it's around my birthday ish. It's coming out, so yeah.
So you wait until it comes to Disney Plus, and then you watch it.
Wait, this year, right? I thought it was next year.
No, it's this year.
No, this year.
Okay. No, I thought it was much closer. I thought it was like springtime. It's like, oh yeah, no, it's fine.
It's May.
Did we ever talk about that trailer? Because like
we haven't talked about Marvel stuff since the last
maybe
show.
We should touch on that because it's been a while.
We didn't even talk about Spider-Man formally.
Did we talk about Hawkeye even? I don't even think we did.
A little bit.
A little bit.
A little bit?
Yeah.
A little bit. Okay.
Yeah. Well, the Doctor Strange was released separately, like probably a week or two after the movie.
Yes.
After No Way Home came out.
And they added some little stuff, little things like but other than that, it's mostly the same trailer.
All I care about is I got to see Domomaru on
who?
No, not
who?
Wait, no, it's not Domomaru. Yes, thank you. Yeah, the green tentacly eyeball guy. Fuck, why can I remember his name? He was in Marvel vs. Capcom. Yeah,
Shumagorath.
That's it. Shumagorath.
Here we go. I went with the Lovecraftian name.
Well, I mean,
they did change his name too. So isn't it Gargantos now?
I don't know. I don't remember that happening.
I remember reading an article. It's like something about the naming rights for that because they were like I guess from Lovecraft's estate or something.
Really?
I think so. It's weird, but his name's like Gargantos or something.
Lovecraft's estate, huh? That's a I didn't know that there was an estate, but all right.
I could be wrong, but I'm fairly certain they had to change the name.
No, that makes sense because I know that there is a Stoker estate and there is a Shelley estate. I'm pretty sure.
Marvel Shumagorath is called Gargantos and Doctor Strange.
It's the Jack Kirby estate, is what it was.
Oh,
that
makes even more sense.
Yeah, no, I think anybody who's part of the Lovecraft estate is like, we don't care, use it.
It's an option.
Yeah,
they're like, just change the name of the cat, please. If you ever make a movie,
please, for the love of God,
just don't.
But yeah,
please edit this. Please change things.
Outside of seeing Shumagorath for the first time on screen,
there's nothing. There's literally nothing.
Nothing else matters to me. And I guarantee like that's probably the beginning of the movie. Like that part.
And it doesn't show any of the shit that's rumored to be in the movie. So.
No.
Well, the rumors have gotten fucking insane.
The rumors but we're at Blue Marvel is in WandaVision levels of rumors.
Goku will be in Doctor Strange.
Well, the one rumor that I don't know if we want to mention in case it does pan out. Whatever, fuck it.
The Illuminati.
Yeah, the Illuminati. The Illuminati has been a through line since this movie was in production. Like, so I think there might be some credence to it. Like, I don't want to say like 100% no, that's not going to happen, but it would be a really great way for them to get in some of the cameos for people that they're hinting at being in the future of Marvel.
Yeah.
I mean,
here's what's gonna happen. Okay, so Vision's gonna get out of the hex, right? And out there is Magneto, and he's like, "I'm here now.
Oh, yeah.
I'm in the MCU.
I'm here. Also, here's the expansion.
I'm here. I'm Quicksilver's dad,
You
BB Dubs."
Right.
He just does the fucking have you met Ted to fucking Professor X? Have you met Professor X?
God, have you met Ted? What are you talking about?
Oh, you guys haven't seen How I Met Your Mother? Okay, never mind.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, that
There's
makes sense.
it's a running joke. Never mind.
Oh no, I don't know anything about that show because I'm not a middle-aged wife.
I'm somewhere in the middle. I have a younger brother who was obsessed with that show.
Wife?
Kind of funny.
Yes,
I'm not defending. I am not defending How I Met Your Mother on this podcast. God damn it.
There are younger people though who love both of those shows, which is it's befuddling to me because just in my own personal age group, we've all thought sitcoms were lame, and then people even younger than us are like, "No, sitcoms are all right." I'm like, "What the fuck?
No.
What world is
watch
this?"
The last 2 minutes of every Big Bang Theory before AEW Dynamite on Wednesdays, so it's like that's
that was how I discovered Scrubs, but I fucking love Scrubs, and we'll defend it to the day I die. Okay,
right? Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
Didn't How I Met Your Mother have Neil Patrick Harris playing kind of a shitty rapey dude in it?
Yes, it does.
Okay, yeah, because I seem to remember like that there was a book that came out that was supposed to be his character, and
fucked up.
Yeah, a little bit. So things that are actually good though. So Hunter, you've been watching Station 11, huh?
I have been.
Yeah, did you finish that second episode?
I don't know.
I did
about this show.
I did. Honestly, like I'm really digging this show. Not gonna lie, like it's really good.
Really good.
I really. I'm not going to spoil it. I'm not going to spoil it, but I do want to talk about the tone for a minute. Like, this is like a really weird, bizarrely hopeful, and kind of like, it's really good.
Yeah.
I've never seen one of these shows with people who are like clapping and laughing and like enjoying themselves.
Well, I mean, it's not spoiling anything to explain the basic premise. So, Connor, the idea is that there is a version of the flu that comes out that people are calling the Georgia flu, that it doesn't have an incubation period. You get sick. Like that's it. And then if you get it, you're dead pretty much. So it's kind of like take the idea of Captain Trips, but make it handled a little bit better. And then it fast forwards 20 years into the future after the flu. Yeah, after the flu, and it's following this performance group that do plays and play music, and they go from city to city, and it kind of jumps between those two things, but there's also connecting themes between the both of them, and it's just so goddamn good because it's hopeful post-apocalypse.
It is. It's like there's children who are enjoying themselves. It's weird. Like,
so Andrew Lincoln is storming into someone's town going like, I'm gonna fuck that guy's wife.
There are so many Walking Dead jokes you can make, but it's a universe where all that kind of stuff has clearly happened
or
elsewhere.
It is very clear there's shitty people in the world, but it's like it doesn't seem to be a big deal.
What you're telling me is I don't have to spend the entire duration of my visit with the show with just shitty people.
No,
you know that somewhere the road is happening, not exactly the road, but you know it is happening somewhere, but you don't have to deal with that. To someone, yes. But you don't have to dwell in that like
it honestly,
sadness and
kind of like it reminds me of like Red, there's parts of Red Dead 2 that kind of reminds me of like just being in the camp. It's just
I can see that. Yeah. It's good. It's like a testament to the idea the idealized version of humanity that, like, regardless of what happens, like, we will continue because we're a terrible fucking virus on this planet. Anyways,
no, we need to thin our numbers with barbed wire wrapped baseball bats and lots of speeches and caving in people's skulls.
And I don't want to say anything more because I don't want to say anything too much because I don't want to spoil things for Hunter. But you will see some aspects of that in the show.
Yeah,
but
I'm sure there will. Yeah,
but
like,
it's honestly a minor part of it.
Yeah, it feels very much.
It sounds like a nice change in pace because I haven't seen a movie that's, or even like a TV show or a movie that's set in the post-apocalypse that's been like, I don't know, like inspiring in any way.
It's funny, I'm watching the show and all I can think about is like, I really don't care for The Last of Us. I don't actually care for it. I think.
It feels like an antidote to a lot of that stuff. The way that I described it earlier this week was that feeling that you have at the very end of Mad Max Fury Road, where there's that hopeful sense that you have at the end of that movie, where you get the sense that they're going to try and rebuild, and that the people that you're following have not given up on hope entirely. That's this show's like almost organizing principle, is building up to how that can work and how it doesn't have to be. Everything doesn't have to be all pain all the time.
You don't
even
need to
when
murder your main character with a baseball bat.
Right. It doesn't have to be violence and
he was murdered by a bridge blowing up and having him land in a helicopter off to his movies.
All those movies that Andrew Lincoln's been.
Man, apparently that show is still teasing
abysmal.
The fucking Rick Grimes movie is like every once in a while, and like
why?
Every time I check back in with that show, something preposterous is happening. Like, it's amazing. I can't believe the mainline show is actually ending, but at the same time, like, I can't believe it's also still around.
I fully believe there will be a point in The Walking Dead where the zombies talk. I feel it coming. I feel it.
They're just gonna steal from the original I Am Legend, where some of the zombies are gonna be like, we're not actually zombies. We're just pretending our skin is starting to grow back, and we are the new humans now, and we have to kill you all because you are the Walking Dead. Like they're totally gonna pull that. And
besides, have you seen your boy Rick? He's your man. Jesus Christ.
When's that movie coming out?
God, we're all just glad we're dead and our olfactory senses are burned out because you people look ripe.
Well, also, like, and then World Beyond, like, came and went like a fucking fart in the wind.
I guess.
AMC is notoriously cheap. And I'm kind of wondering if the amount of money they're making off the show is not as much as they're having to pay anymore. And they're like, all right, kill it. We got to kill it because we've got a million other people we can take advantage of and make a lot of money off their shows and not pay anybody well enough.
I mean, I have a lot of questions about AMC's strategy at this point because
remember a couple years back when they were announcing all those shows. It was like, I think this is around 2014, 2015. I seem to remember they were announcing all these shows, and one of them was Alter Beast, and like. It was really they were going to work on an Alter Beast show. I'm fairly certain.
Live from your grave.
Live from your grave.
But like I seem to remember them like really digging into making these shows, and then all of a sudden it's just Walking Dead all the time now.
What would they do with an Altered Beast show?
I don't know, man. It was all.
The Walking Dead producers working on Altered Beast Streets of Rage adaptations.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it's great.
In defense, right. In defense of that period of time where they announced this, remember, like, Better Call Saul, I think, had been announced by then, probably, or there was, or maybe Breaking Bad was just wrapping up.
Hold on. So Sega and Stories International first revealed plans to adapt more than 40 Sega properties, including Golden Axe, Crazy Taxi, and Virtua Fighter into feature films, television shows, and digital series in 2014.
Desperate to see the Crazy Taxi movie.
What would What would Virtual Fighter be? Would everybody
were
be
going to-
polygonal? Like,
They were going to do a Shinobi movie and a Rent-A-Hero movie.
what?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
They had a producer attached to Shinobi and a director attached to Rent-A-Hero.
okay, Eric, I need you to know this. I just snorted red wine into my nostrils.
I'm sorry.
because of what you said, and it's still there. And I need you to know that you did that.
You're welcome. Well, the other thing is, like, okay, so an Altered Beast show, like, let's say they do the amount of seasons that there are levels. So that means the big finale of season 2 would be Dude turning into the dragon thing, and then hiding in the corner, the right lower corner of the giant eyeball monster, and just using the electricity attack over and over. Because that's how you beat that thing. That is the cheat to get past that thing.
I would love a Streets of Rage show, though. I think that'd be fucking awesome.
I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, unless it had the, like, you can't trust the police, your fists are your only weapons as the opening tagline, then
it needs to be every episode opens with you cannot trust the police.
You do it exactly like the Warriors, but you have to find a way to pace that over, 10, 15 episodes.
Yeah. With a lot of ACAB in it.
And but it would also be them calling in rogue elements of the police to drop firebombs on people. Because that was a big part of the first game. That was your clear attack, was like you'd see a cop car come in and a guy would get out with a rocket launcher, and then it would firebomb everyone you were fighting. So
I'm sad this never happened.
I'm not against the idea, but fuck.
I mean,
but okay, so you mentioned the big ones, but 40 properties. What the fuck else were they going to do?
I'm also seeing. So Sonic is supposed to be the first one.
I mean,
Shinobi, Golden Axe, Altered Beast, Virtual Fighter, Crazy Taxi, and one of them was like Rise of Nightmares.
I could honestly I think with the success of Sonic, they're gonna try and bring this back. I generally think they will.
I'm not opposed to them doing a Yakuza show.
No, Yakuza thing would be cool. Like, there's things they could do with these properties. I'm not necessarily saying Altered Beast, but I think a Crazy Taxi thing would be pretty cool.
Yakuza video game movie coming from Sega. That was in 2020, September 24th.
If we're just talking about Sega still, then I don't know about them and AMC producing these things because
Sonic was Paramount. I want to say
that was
Paramount. Yeah, I think they weren't. It wasn't Sony. I know it wasn't Sony. So
just real quick to what I said about AMC being cheap. Like, these are the same people that didn't want to finish Mad Men because Wiener wanted too much money, and they were and Breaking Bad was actively courting other stations to air the last season. So AMC is never going to do any of this ever.
Yeah, well, I think that they were planning to continue the growth that they had seen after Walking Dead aired. I think that was part of the plan. And no, they're about the same as they were. Like Shudder is still what it is. It's still my favorite service that I pay for every month, but it's still about the same size as it was. They're very good at getting movies on there. And everything else that I know that AMC is associated with, it's all at about the same size. Even after they launched AMC Plus, which is supposed to be all of the things together, it's still about where it was before. They're still buying the same quality British shows to beef up their catalog, and but they're not. They haven't had the same exponential acceleration that they had with those first few seasons of The Walking Dead. And I don't think that they're ever going to recapture that. I think their best avenue at the moment is to get bought by Paramount or get bought by Sony.
They still do good prestige TV. Wasn't Killing Eve on AMC?
They still do good stuff. Well, that's part of their BBC.
Yeah, that was picked up from someplace else.
Yeah.
But, all right, so you said AMC Plus. Who the fuck needs AMC Plus? All of their best stuff has either been hey, it's $5 for the entire series of Breaking Bad digitally, or you can watch it all on Netflix. Like,
This is the hilarious thing about AMC Plus. It doesn't even have their back catalog of stuff.
What the fuck does it exist for then?
It exists so that you don't have to pay for the services individually. So, and so you can watch whatever's airing right now. I subscribed to it just the other day because I saw a new show starring Zon McLaren that I thought was airing already because I had seen so many Facebook ads for it. I was like, cool, my guy from Fargo and Hawkeye in a show that's supernatural-ish, Dark Winds, I think it's called. It might be a remake of a show with Lou Diamond Phillips. I'm not sure about that.
What? Oh, the guy who wasn't actually of any type of native tribe. Okay, cool. Yeah, that guy. Yeah.
But I was very excited for it because I'm in for my man Zon.
Yes.
I don't know when that show is airing. It may not be airing for 6 months. So I'm technically paying for Shudder twice over because that's included in it. You get access to their Shudder library, their IFC library, and their BBC America stuff. Okay. I had it for a couple of months because of the newest season of Doctor Who that they were doing. Because they also have that through their BBC America stuff. Like, they have a good catalog of stuff. If I didn't already pay yearly for Shudder, I would just have it year round because it's only like a couple dollars more than what I pay for Shudder. But if you're looking for the back catalog, that stuff's not in there. I found this out because I was angrily wanting to watch the latest season of Better Call Saul, couldn't find it anywhere else, and I was like, well, surely it'll be on AMC Plus if I subscribe. It should all be there, right? No. Anything Breaking Bad after the airing of the original Breaking Bad is part of Netflix. Netflix is streaming stuff. If you want to watch anything related to that, you have to go there. And Netflix.
El Camino was a Netflix original movie.
Yep. And you have to wait till the next season of Better Call Saul airs, which now might not be for an entire other year.
Yeah, that's why that's taking so long for that season to come to Netflix.
Yep. Okay. And it's like, geez, which is why I ended up signing up for a VPN. And I still haven't watched all of it because the experience of watching it on a VPN is awful.
Of course it is.
Really? Roku, work on your VPN support, you sons of bitches. You're great at everything else, but not VPN support.
Well, it's bad to Arlen because it's illegal. That's why. He's a man of God.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Where were we? AMC, yeah, I don't know. I like AMC still does good stuff, but they were really betting on a lot of things happening for them. But instead they have The Walking Dead, which has a man wearing a sci-fi suit now, like a rejected David Bowie outfit.
What?
You might be looking at I think it's okay, so there's the timeline from World Beyond that the main show was starting to catch up with as it's coming to an end. Yeah.
There's a man there's a man wearing
dude. He's like an infantry, I think, or something like that.
Yeah, and he's wearing this weird sci-fi armor, and I don't understand. And it's him versus.
Why does he have sci-fi armor?
Why? I don't know.
There's some kind of development that's got advanced to that's got access to I don't know, decent tech. That's this is my guess based on what I've seen.
It's very hard to tell. I saw a trailer for Fear the Walking Dead where this guy.
Okay, yeah, the Commonwealth people.
Yeah, I saw a trailer for that where it's a guy
the Enclave from Fallout.
Okay, yeah, there's a trailer where the guy's I nuked the entire South. That's wait, nukes? Nukes happened? When did nukes happen? Why are there nukes?
Well, there's nukes, and I guess they introduced a new kind of walker, which is walkers who have been nuked and exposed to radiation, who now just being in their presence is lethal. I'm that's cool shit. I wish I didn't have to watch The Walking Dead to get it.
Oh my god!
This is why.
My body is shutting down because we're talking about Walking Dead this much. Oh god, kill me.
This is how my I Am Legend theory about this show comes true. Because they're just going to keep on copying other apocalypse things until they've absorbed all of them. It's like anything, if when Star Trek is on long enough, they've copied every sci-fi thing that's ever existed. because
Well,
it's just
I've also heard that
the
Walking
nature
Dead
of
is now
stuff now.
on long enough to contradict stuff that was established in season 1.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
the season where they actually cared. Got it.
Yes, yes.
Got it. Back
Man, I
before.
saw that interview with Sam Witwer where he talks about how like Walking Dead season 2 was supposed to be, and then he's just like, yeah, and they fire Frank Darabont and slash the budget, and none of that shit happened. I'm like, and
Yeah.
that's the end of that story, I guess. Like,
Was season 2 the one that spent half of it like, where's the girl? And
yeah,
then
Yeah,
the other
season 2.
okay. Yeah, that was
in the
terrible.
barn. I still think that
Yeah.
reveal is fantastic because that's just like
There
is so
yeah.
much time wasted, but like I still think that like we can't find this girl, and like yeah, she's probably dead, but like not only is she dead, she's in the barn full of walkers that Herschel's been collecting for half a season and just keeping them in there like animals.
I think that there was a gross overcorrection that happened after season 2, where it's like instead of spending any time to let things develop, we just immediately went to fucking eye patch, whose name I'm forgetting.
Oh, the governor.
The governor. They immediately went to the governor's the bad guy within a season. And they had to like do an entire episode in the next season to fix the governor being villainous. And it was just like, this does not work. This does not feel natural in hindsight. I remember at the time being very excited for it because like a lot of people, I was high on the show being what it was, but like the pacing is just so inconsistent. I don't think I could watch that show now if I went back and because I don't think any of it would work. I think that it's too dependent on.
I don't want to watch any of that show unless it is an episode like the Governor episode where they hyper focus on a single character and you get more time in that person's head. Like when they do it with Negan or they do it with the Governor, they did it with Morgan. Like those episodes are fucking tastic. And then once it goes back to the regular shit, I'm like, oh, I don't care about any of this. They're going to spend so much fucking time doing it. And like, I can't stand Rick Grimes as a television protagonist because I think he is just fundamentally unlikable from every point on the spectrum that you stand on. I think he fucking sucks.
Yeah. So anyway, Station 11.
Yes. Yeah.
Which circles us perfectly back around to that, which I can't say enough good stuff about that show.
Yeah,
like it just made me so thoroughly happy.
So good. I'm just glad that you started watching it, Arlen, because I felt like the old man yelling at clouds when I was like, Station 11's really good, everybody.
Station 11.
And
I was I was very worried that it was going to be the same reasons that Hunter was worried and that other people of our group were worried like going into it, and it's just not. It's not that. It's not a show that it feels like it is. That feels like it's in bad taste after everything that the last 2 years have wrought. It doesn't. It absolutely doesn't. It feels. No. In fact, I feel like there may have been a version of the show that would have felt in bad taste, but I feel like they went the other direction. They really made sure not to overdo it with the pandemic-y stuff, and because of the nature of the story and the way that the virus works in the story, it allowed them to get out of that because it's a virus that kills so quickly. Yep. It's not they didn't have to dwell in it. They didn't have to do Contagion, which is a movie that is much harder to watch than this show is. Like the show is so incredibly watchable, and the characters are so compelling. Yes. Much in the way that Connor was saying, that some of the best stuff in The Walking Dead is when they really focus on characters, and it does that. But again, you don't have to deal with like hours of characters being miserable in just the worst possible way.
It's also nice to watch one of these shows and seeing people like enjoy themselves. Not only that, but like seeing people who are like, oh, this is a genuinely like cool person who I'd probably like to hang out with if they were real. Like,
and the world building is so natural. Also, that's the thing I love about it.
Well, I was doing a little reading about the show and the book before, after I'd finished watching it, the entire series, and man, the book definitely got a bit darker than the show does. Like, I don't want to say anything. I'll message you about it, Arlen, or I'll send you a link to the article I read. But yeah, it's it's very different, some of the choices they made, and I think it's for the better what they ended up doing.
Yeah, I think that it worked out well. I think I don't know much about the guy who's the showrunner, but I know Hiro Murai from Atlanta.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I it seems like he was a big part of the show. I think he directed most of the episodes, a large number of them. Oh, okay, not as many as I thought, but he directed the pilot, and I think that his personality is all over it. And these directors, I think it's as with any TV show, they follow the direction that is established in the first few episodes. And I think that there's just this tone that the show strikes that is, again, like we've been saying, it's so hopeful, but it doesn't pretend that dark things don't happen, and that's more realistic in the sense of that's how any show set in the modern day would be.
Yeah,
we have shows set now that are sitcoms, and we have shows set now that are your Law and Order's SVUs or the Danish crime dramas, where it's like all of this exists at the same time. People go through their lives, and some people are having the worst day of their lives that they could possibly have, and some people are just having a good time. And the fact that this show is like in this period of time, in a time that might be considered a bad time to exist, there are still people who are going to be smiling and singing and living lives.
This doesn't really spoil anything, but like it establishes, I think it's like either in the third or even the second episode, like the phrase like, oh, you're a pre, or like something along those lines, talking about the people that existed before like the apocalypse happened. So like the people who were born after like this terrible virus tore through everyone, they have a completely different outlook on things. And that's a great way to explain it, is like these people were born into this world that like this is all they've known, so they've found happiness in it. And then you've got the people who remember the world beforehand, who are like, they're the ones who are having the hardest time dealing with all this. So, and that's making it sound more sinister than it is. Like it's not something that plays up a whole lot, except with like one or two characters.
I don't want a hard transition, but I just found something interesting while I'll have that Walking Dead stuff pulled up. So there was a resolution in the Victor Miller Friday the 13th lawsuit.
Yeah,
like
I thought I'd seen something about that.
So Victor Miller won the case officially, and he owns the right to his screenplay. The answer to can Victor and Sean make separate movies? Not really, because Victor only owns U.S. rights owns U.S. rights and only to the first script, and Sean owns adult hockey mask wearing Jason, but can't legally use him in a movie without Victor's express permission. It's complicated. So basically, it's over, but this is still a fucking mess.
What was the point of the lawsuit? What was the point?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That's
I don't think we need Friday the 13th anymore.
I don't think we do. I mean, I've heard many interesting takes of how you could do a Friday the 13th. And apparently, every good horror writer that we all know of has written a Friday the 13th script.
Okay,
David Bruckner has written a Friday the 13th script, and so on and so forth. The list goes on.
There exists currently two fantastic Friday the 13th movies. They're called Don't
YouTube movies.
The two short films are the best Friday the 13th movies I've ever seen. Yeah. And honestly, beyond that, I don't really care. I love Jason to death, but like at this point, like what are you gonna fucking do with him? Like unless you have a wild ass angle, like I've been saying for years, unless you're gonna do a movie that's like 2/3 Jason POV, I don't give a shit. Like
when did the first Friday the 13th come out? What year?
Like 1970.
Is it 80?
So give it another 6 years, and that series will be 50 years old. We don't need any more Friday the 13th.
The slasher movie is dead. Like unless here's the thing. Here's how someone will do the Halloween kills fucking into it where they'll have somebody for, like the Tommy Jarvis actor, for instance, who's still around, like, or even Corey Feldman. It'd be fucking Corey Feldman with the way these fucking studios act. Like, they bring in Corey Feldman and they would just bring back Jason, and it would just be more of the fucking same. And the first one would make money hand over fist, and the second one would suck ass.
Yeah. Yeah, also, this is the thing. Jason is way too generic for him to deserve to come back the way that he in that way. I think him
because, like,
I
think he's honestly he's not just as Freddy, because Freddy has personality, you can see, but like Freddy vs. Jason dives into like some wacky shit like in Jason's dream world, and I'm like, in here is a cool fucking movie. I just don't know what the fuck you do with any of it. Like, there's something to be said about like the visuals of him living in like a half-drowned house and like basically maintaining his house as if he were a little boy, but like that's cool if you get it in snippets, and I have no idea how you turn that into a feature film. And that's like the only angle you have left. It's like getting his head, and like I don't know if there's anybody around who can do that really.
No, probably not. I mean, it's to me, this has kind of already happened. There's no reason to continue doing Fridays because there's so many people who are doing Friday the 13th, but they don't have Jason. So they're doing like their version of it already. And I'm fine with just letting that continue. Just letting that go on as it has been. Because it's producing, I think, movies that are at the very least more interesting to me.
You mean like Hatchet and like shit like that?
Sure, Hatchet. You know, there was that Shudder movie with Bria Grant, where the killer kept coming back at the end of every day. I think it's called Lucky or something like that. There's a million of these movies. There's a movie called 13th Fanboy, which is about a Friday the 13th fan who is killing off the surviving actors and actresses from the Friday the 13th movies.
Oh my god, you've got to be kidding me.
And it's actually really good. Dee Wallace is in it as the lead, as one of the leads, and she Dee Wallace's it up. And like,
okay,
yeah, like people are doing fun stuff with it. People who don't even have the rights to Friday the 13th. Like you said, some of the best official or stuff with someone in the hockey mask, that stuff has been fan films.
God, I can't even, like, Don't Hike Alone is so fucking good, and Don't Hike Alone has exactly 3 actors in it. It has a guy playing Jason, a guy playing a hiker, and then the actor who plays Tommy Jarvis shows up at the end. And it is compelling from start to fucking finish, and I can't believe how good it was.
And just, I think that this is just how it is, you know? I mean, a million movies about exorcisms have happened after The Exorcist. There's no reason to do more Exorcists, as far as I'm concerned.
Man, but remember we were doing like 2 a year?
Oh yeah.
Hey, remember when we were doing an exorcism movie that you didn't actually have an ending? You had to go to a web page that isn't available anymore.
Wait, hold on. What?
Eric, I was searching for horror movies.
Oh my god! Holy shit, Hunter. Okay, so this movie called what the fuck is it called? Like,
it's it's not The Last Exorcism, is it? Is it?
No. I can't remember.
It's that same era though. It's that same
the
time.
Fucking Anthony Hopkins movie?
No,
that's the right. It's the same period of time though, Hunter. You're right on in terms of the time that this happened. It's called
The Devil Inside. Okay.
Yes.
The Devil Inside has no ending. It has a jump scare and like a POV car crash, and then it ends with a link.
Yeah.
What?
It ends with a link. And you can't even, if you tried to follow that link now, it goes to nothing. It absolutely goes nowhere.
This is I pulled up the fucking Wikipedia page just like look at like who's involved in this. It doesn't even tell you what's on the fucking webpage.
Mm-hmm.
I don't to this day I don't know what was on the webpage because like it's been gone for years.
Well, no, it was like a Blair Witch style site. It was like it was something like that where it was
didn't
like
have an actual ending. It just had more. I think it just had more of the fucking movie, like more of that universe. It was like the Tagarado shit, Overfield DVD.
Because anybody that tried to recreate the Blair Witch after the Blair Witch fucked themselves over horribly with like bad, weird tie-in shit and like trying to like tell people that it was real. It's like, no, you can't You can't do that again. Cloverfield got to do it again because that was a big studio putting big studio money into it.
Well,
And
it
they
was a
could,
different idea too.
yes. Yeah, you could build this energy behind it. But by the time you have a trailer that has the Statue of Liberty, Statue of Liberty's head falling somewhere in New York, it's like, okay, well, some of that momentum is gone. But now people are so excited to see the movie that they're going to see it, and broke records for, I think, its January release. But you can't do that again after that. Even another Blair Witch movie couldn't do that again.
Cloverfield also
you know
had.
What's funny? You mentioned Blair Witch. Did you know about the Blair Witch 2 like secret of what the fuck was it called? I don't know if we covered the
Book
movie
of
on
Shadows.
The Secret of Esrever was a Book of Shadows viral thing that was attached to VHS.
Oh.
Well, yeah, it's I mean, it's not the same, but like back to Cloverfield real quick. Cloverfield also had the benefit of amazing ARG. Like for the first time with like a movie that it was, you had to do all of this research to get little things here and there, like that. What was it? Slurm? Not Slurm. That's from Futurama. But like whatever.
No,
whatever.
Yeah,
it was a Tagrado or whatever the fuck it was.
There's the drink that's in all of JJ's movies. Sluggo. Is it Sluggo?
Sluggo.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that was connected, and you could use that to find various things. If you went to like the source code for the web page, it would lead you to other places. So it was a lot of fun getting to the movie. Even, and I mean, I liked Cloverfield, but parts of it, I'm like, okay, yeah, this wasn't as rewarding as I wanted it to be. But regardless, like a lot of the fun of that movie was like not knowing what was happening, but getting these tantalizing little hints. And I don't even know if Blair Witch, a remake that was done well, could do anything like that. I feel like that was a once in a lifetime thing with that. Like that was before everyone was sick of J.J. Abrams shit as well.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like the time and place is very important.
Yeah.
So like, of course it wasn't going to work as well when somebody put a link at the end of their webpage.
Or the end of their movie, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but Hunter, goddammit, Connor, back to what you were saying about.
Well, Blair Witch 2. So basically, the movie would end, and it gave you this message saying to watch the movie again. Basically, rewatch scenes in reverse to find hidden words and slightly altered shots, which then lead them to a bonus scene at the now defunct film's website. But like the movie, if you watched it like knowing where to look, like there was stuff like there was hidden letters in the background. There were Blair Witch symbols in the background. At one point, someone's walking along a two-way mirror, and his reflection morphs into like a ghoul. Like a bunch of shit like that. It doesn't make the movie any better because the movie's fucking trash.
Yes, it is.
But it was an interesting like thing they kind of attached to it, and it was like kind of it was a viral marketing. I think like the VHS era.
Well, like when I finally got to see that movie and see all that stupid bullshit, I felt a lot like it was that thing like, all right, let's see if you pay attention well enough. Like, like, oh, at what point did the gorilla walk in? You're like, wait, I was watching the people juggle. Like, that's what that felt like. Have you never seen anything like that, Hunter?
What do you mean?
There'll be like a video saying like, this is a test to see how well you pay attention.
Oh,
and it'll be asking you all this shit, and like they'll be like, did you see the gorilla? And you're like, what? And you go back and watch it, and there's like somebody in a gorilla suit who comes in, but because you're paying attention to all this other shit. That's what Blair Witch 2's like secret quote unquote felt like when I finally got to see it.
And this is why goblins are real.
Or
Mexicans. There was the devil inside. There was the Last Rite. There was the Exorcism of Emily Rose, and there was the Last Exorcism. Like all within like I think like a 3-year span.
Exactly. And they're still making them. There's that movie that is there that is just there's that movie that is just the movie with fucking Brian Cox and what's his face. There's that movie that's just that, but they throw in an exorcism and they added a CG woman like crawling across the ceiling, and it's like yeah, it's just like, okay, you're just like stealing other indie movies now and like putting exorcisms in them and selling them. It's like
for some reason, The Rite is the one that like sticks in my mind because I think I was exposed to the most advertising for that movie.
There was so much advertising because they had Hopkins, and they were like, we're gonna fucking sell this movie to you. You're gonna see this movie because of Anthony
Which is
Hopkins.
funny because The Last Exorcism, I think, is the one I enjoyed the most because that one had like some interesting shit going on because like it did the thing where like, oh, this is this is real. No, it's a con. No, it's real. No, it's a con. No, it's real. And it also has a character who actually the main character is a con man who goes through a crisis of faith and comes out of it with like an arc. Like he is a former reverend who's now doing con jobs and stealing people's money, doing fake exorcisms, and then comes down, comes face to face with actual biblical evil and finds his faith again. So it's kind of good. I liked it.
Which was the exorcism movie that had the girl that could bend her spine backwards?
What?
I think that's the same movie. Yeah,
I think it's the same movie. Yeah.
Oh, it is? I thought that was The Exorcism of Emily Rose.
The two of them did very similar things.
Okay. Because I remember there was a second Exorcism of Emily Rose, and
I've not heard about this.
Maybe it wasn't the second. Maybe it was. Maybe
no,
it was
but
the last.
There was a Last Exorcism 2, which is the hilarious thing about the Last Exorcism.
Okay, yeah, because that's the one that had that woman like bending her body into the shape of a 2, if I remember correctly.
Yes,
I swear to God,
the greatest poster I've ever fucking seen.
Yeah,
because it shows up on Amazon sometime. I'm like, my God, they actually did it. It wasn't the 80s. Nobody was on coke. Nobody was.
Yep, I found the exact poster.
Yeah, I found it.
And they still made it. They were still like The Last Exorcism 2, completely defeating the point of calling your movie The Last Exorcism, which is just, oh my God.
I just put it in the chat.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
It's just, my God. And I do want to just point something out real quick about The Devil Inside. I was, looking for horror movies to watch because I guess I've watched too many of them now. And I was interested in this movie called The Separation. I've seen it a couple places. It showed up on like a highest rated list on Letterboxd or something. And I was like, okay, maybe I'll give it
that's a sign of quality. I trust everything on Letterboxd.
No, but if I see something that's like got like a 4.0 on Letterboxd, that's very hard to find, actually, especially in the horror section. Everything in the horror section is under like 3.0. So I was like, all right.
I'm very disappointed there wasn't an Exorcism of Emily Rose 2, just because that premise alone sounds insane.
I don't know. How do you do that?
Fucking died.
Yeah,
is that one just like? Is that one about the priest after he doesn't go to prison?
Yeah, it's court drama. Oh yeah. Oh, you mean the second one? It's just him farting around after the court.
It's like this is based on a true story, and the story ended there. So I don't know.
Can you imagine, like, it just opens up. He's in court again. They're just like, I can't believe you did it again.
Well, so Arlen, you're talking about The Separation because I just looked it up and it got like a 4.7 out of 10.
It did. But that's not the thing that scared me away. When I realized it was the same director as The Devil Inside, I was like, "Fuck this!
Okay.
This is not happening. I'm not watching this movie."
Fool me once.
and then I looked at his whole oeuvre. He also directed Stay Alive and both of the Boy films.
Oh no!
And sadly, he's going to direct the sequel to Orphan, which I'm not going to watch now. Now that I know that that's him.
Wait, why are they making a sequel to the Orphan? What?
Because they can make a sequel to Orphan, Hunter. They can do it, so they're gonna. I don't know what to tell you.
It would end with Vera Farmiga kicking a child in the face and just watching her drown in an icy lake.
She kicks that girl into space. She goes through the core of the planet and into a black.
That movie is one of the most satisfying final fucking shots of a horror climax I've ever seen. Of just a grown woman kicking this very small girl in the.
I'm all for it.
Oh my God.
It's so good.
It's so good.
Actually,
here's the thing. I like Stay Alive. I've seen the director's cut of that movie. I had the director's cut of that movie for a long time. I thoroughly enjoyed that weird piece of shit. I think it's really fun.
Is that the one about the video game that is?
Yeah, with Frankie Muniz.
Wait, it's called Stay Alive?
Yeah, so basically
Yes.
it's about like it first of all, you get to the people who made this have no idea how fucking video games work, okay? It's just you have to roll with it like right away cuz like and they're dropping like they're name dropping Silent Hill but bringing up stuff from Silent Hill 2 in reference to Silent Hill 4 and it's fucking
Right.
cringy. But
That's
like
my memory of the movie is like
Yeah.
its understanding of video games is games from like the early 90s. And
it's like people it's how people thought video games would be in 1985 if they were thinking about 2020 where like things would be like
Yeah.
Tron VR level shit.
Mhm.
But like it's about that someone has trapped the spirit of Elizabeth Bathory, the Countess of Blood,
Okay,
in a
wait, what?
video game,
Hold on,
and
I
that
love
playing
this.
this game summons a digitized version of Elizabeth Bathory who comes and kills you the same way you die in the game. And apparently, Miss Bathory's tower, which was in fucking whatever Europe, is now down the road. And
I have so many problems with this. I have so many problems with this. For one, there are so many cooler things you can do with Elizabeth Bathory.
Yeah,
My
like you can have
fucking
somebody
god.
fucked to
But
death
here's
with a
the thing.
horse.
But here's the
Right.
thing. In the game, if you get killed, per se, like one of the characters does, with a horse-drawn carriage, you're thinking, that's impossible. The guy from Westworld will never get killed by a horse-drawn carriage. And he steps into the street, and a horse-drawn carriage comes from nowhere and runs his ass over.
That is
I just
amazing.
I'm so angry at this. I'm so angry at this. I'm so angry that they're besmirching Elizabeth Bathory of
And
all
here's the thing.
things.
You never see her. She's never a person. She is always a 2006, 2007 CGI abomination who then looks like she is from a video game from this movie.
How
Again.
would she? How would they? What's the point of putting her in the game?
So there's a
Why is
whole
that?
okay. There's a story to stay alive. The PG-13 version, which is the one they dropped in
Is
theaters,
there?
is entirely hang on, is entirely devoid of context. So they just give you the video game. There's no history. They blast through the movie, and that's it. And the director's cut has like the game director being maybe into the fucking occult and like local spooky history and shit, and like historians and like this whole other subplot explaining how this came to be, and they just dropped all of that. For the
That
theatrical
is
version.
hilariously
So-
stupid.
I repeat, is there?
I'm still angry because it's like just make it like Aleister Crowley. I mean,
Yeah.
at least that would be fun. That would be funny to me
He was
because
already in a video game. He was in Nightmare Creatures.
Aleister
Sure.
Crowley just hunched over a keyboard somewhere trying to code this game.
yeah,
Damnable, you boy, take acid so you can fuck me.
yes,
Shelly
Well,
farts.
well,
I love when Shelly farts.
yeah. It's just him coding while eating balls of shit.
As stupid as Stay Alive sounds, like it is kind of fun in a really, really odd way, especially when they're gathered together playing video games. You're like, not like they're holding like PlayStation controllers and they're doing things that are just impossible even by today's standards. But like, I love the fact that like we have to defeat Elizabeth Bathory. Oh, she lives right over there, and like there's just a fucking big stone tower, like just in the middle of suburbia.
I can't get over how angry I am that it's Elizabeth Bathory. This is just going to be. This is the
Lizzie.
rock.
She got arrested at the 7-Eleven because she didn't have enough money for Newports. Like that's.
Wouldn't it be smarter to beat the game by not playing the game?
Yeah.
Right.
Why don't you just stop playing?
Well, you win in real life by never watching this movie. Speaking of things that I thought were going to be fun and also connect into the like modern attempts to do possession films, was it Bloody Mary? Was the one that with Jeffrey Dean? Was it Jeffrey Dean Stanton in it? It's the woman that is supposed to be able to do miracles, and you find out it's not actually the Virgin Mary giving her those.
That was I know what movie you're talking about.
I remember this teaser and it looked really good, and then
it was terrible.
Oh no!
Oh, you thought it was terrible?
What is this called?
I don't remember what the name of it is. It's not a good movie.
So it's like the what is it? The Possession, where Jeffrey Dean Morgan, same actor, his daughter gets a Dybbuk box. No, that's The Box.
Yeah,
they're very different plot wise, but it is Jeffrey Dean Morgan giving a very sleepwalky performance. It's it's a woman who she thinks that she's talking to the Virgin Mary, but it's actually a demon that was trapped in a tree.
The unholy.
Yeah,
It
the
wasn't even
unholy.
a demon. It was yes, yeah. It was it was.
No, it was a ghost. Yeah, it was a ghost.
It was like a witch or a girl.
It was it was a witch ghost. Yes.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah,
Man, you know what else suckered me with a good trailer? The Unborn.
Oh well, that's
Is that the one that the poster was just an excuse to show that girl's ass?
Yes,
that sounds right.
Okay, yeah.
And it had the weird ghost boy who like cops a feel, but also like the trailer has like these like wild ass practical effect shots of like some old dude's head like spinning around upside down, like some cool jump scares, and like that movie fucking blows.
I mean,
Shocked.
If you ask David Goyer about it,
I was gonna say David Goyer was involved with it, so shocked.
No, he's the director. That's his follow-up to Blade Trinity.
Oh God. Oh God.
That's very true. I forgot about that.
That was
and Idris Elba is slumming it in that movie.
Oh,
I do want to circle back real quick to Station 11. Eric, I have mentioned many times and on the show that it reminded me of Maniac. Patrick Somerville, the showrunner of Station 11, the creator of Maniac.
Okay.
Okay.
That makes a lot of sense then.
Suddenly it all fits.
I didn't know Scott Derrickson directed The Exorcism of Emily Rose.
Yeah. Yeah, that was his I
actually like that movie, even though it's a horrific exploitation of like a real abuse case.
Yeah, I prefer the second one.
I watched. Goddamn. So I watched it after years of Blumhouse being Blumhouse and making an entire catalog of Blumhouse movies. So it wasn't that affecting to me, but because it's everywhere. Like this is just it's the Blumhouse style that they established. It's like watching slasher or going back and watching the original Friday the 13th. It's just not going to have the same impact after.
I don't know why. This might be Blumhouse, but I'm not sure if it is. Like the first Sinister was Blumhouse too, right?
Yeah.
I remember. I still can recall the exact like details of the disappointment that I was feeling during the sequels. Fucking the first time I watched the sequel. Holy shit! Like the first one has this cool suspense they built the entire time. Ethan Hawke is really good. The fucking soundtrack is awesome. And like the way it's filmed is creative, and like Scott Derrickson, like he's honestly like that's my favorite movie he's ever done. The second movie is devoid of absolutely everything that makes the first one fun, and it has a fun cast too. It has what's his face?
Tell me it's not true.
It's got what's his face? I saw him in the first Sinister, and he popped up in It Chapter 2. He's Eddie, I think.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. James Ransome.
Yeah, he's great. And then what's her face? Shannon Sussman from the fucking Knight's Tale.
Yeah, she's been in a bunch of stuff since then, but that's the best point of reference.
Wonderful, and that movie is just a fucking turd.
It's really disappointing. Yeah,
it's more of the same like snuff film things in the first movie, but like there's way more of them. They're way more over the top, so they're less believable, and like shitty kids, and that's it. And we've lost Hunter. The oxygen stopped going to his head.
We lost. Yeah, we lost the tall one. Real quick on Sinister 2. That it really disappointed me. I actually liked his Netflix movie Eli, and the movie that I think is still on Shudder, Citadel. They're both very good. And yeah, like Sinister 2 being bad is just like, I guess I shouldn't watch it then because it's another Conjuring 2 there from the looks of it. Or not Conjuring 2, The Nun.
I was going to say, Conjuring 2 fucking rules. What are you doing?
Yeah.
I was confused because of The Nun. Again,
the Conjuring.
Them using Irish directors and like just removing anything interesting about them is just it's a thing. It's a thing that they're doing where it's like, no,
did he direct some movie with Aaron Eckhart?
He might have.
Oh,
You need to be more specific.
hang on.
All I know
Aaron,
is this movie, Eli, which he said.
Aaron Eckhart. Like, what happened to his career?
I don't fucking know, man. I Frankenstein happened. Are you kidding me?
He's another one
that wasn't Aaron Eckhart. I thought that was
that was Aaron Eckhart. Yeah,
that was.
That was Aaron Eckhart.
I thought that was what's his fucking face who played the Punisher.
He's got that whole Amazing Amy, fucking Gone Girl, fucking Rosamund Pike. He's got the same thing that she does. Where after Dark Knight, I just expected him to be in fucking everything, like just everything. He had good roles before that, but I expected him to be like the leading man in a million movies, and it's like, no, nothing after that, essentially. And the same for her, where it's like,
I'm sorry,
they
it wasn't Aaron Eckhart. It was Eric Bana. I'm not sure how I got those two.
Oh.
Well, Aaron Eckhart was in I, Frankenstein, but
I think Aaron Eckhart was in a similar movie. It was called Deliver Us from Evil.
Oh, yeah. No, that's the one that's again based on a true story about the cop who was teamed up with next.
I actually enjoyed that. I didn't mind that. Yeah, I thought it was half decent.
I'm gonna give that one a shot. Yeah.
Yeah, you should. Like, that's the thing, though. I don't know where it's streaming. Like,
oh, okay.
Well, there's a lot of stuff.
Aaron Eckhart was in a movie called Incarnate, which
I've seen that movie, and that movie's actually very good. It's really, really good. It's like Inception, but there's a demon. I mean, do you need more? Do you need more details? Yeah.
No, never mind. I'm thinking, what was the movie that like took place in like a computer simulation that they were using to try and help a woman's mother who was in a coma?
Is it called Demon or Devil? It's got a really boring title.
But it's from a director I like. That's the thing. I can't remember the name.
No, it's from Bomb Camp. I actually watched that movie. It's fine.
Okay.
Demonic.
Honestly, just watch Incarnate. Actually, Incarnate is kind of like the good version of Incarnate, a movie I didn't talk a lot about when I watched it, but it's really good. Like, Aaron Eckhart gives a really great performance. They established like a real interesting world lore. Thinking of it again, it ends in like a real bullshit way where they were very confident that they would get a sequel. Very confident, and that's not happened. But no, I remember being very surprised that it was so good, and it has the kid who I think he was Bruce Wayne at the time, or he went on to be Bruce Wayne in the Gotham.
Oh no! Oh my God! Guess who else is in I, Frankenstein?
Everybody is in that movie.
Frankenstein?
No, it's just like I couldn't believe this. Well, I couldn't believe these two names that were in this movie. One is Bill Nighy from Pirates of the Caribbean and Underworld. The other one is Jai Courtney.
Yeah. Well, this was the time where Bill Nighy was in everything. Literally everything. No, this is the same people from Underworld. Like, that's why Kevin Grievous is in this.
He's in this too.
He's not doing the steel face, that beautiful man. But someday. And Miranda Otto is also in it, and Yvonne Strahovski. Never seen I, Frankenstein. I don't need to, because I know how the movie ends. I know it ends with him saying, "I, Frankenstein," because the whole I like the drama of the movie is actually the thing that me and Eric get into scrabbles about all the time, which is them calling him Frankenstein and him saying, "I'm not Frankenstein."
Well, good. I'm glad they got that right, at least.
But at the end of the movie, he accepts that he is Frankenstein's son, and that he is. Yeah.
So that's doubly bad then. All right, cool. I'm never watching this movie.
It earned $8.6 million its opening weekend. I think it cost like $80 million.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Potential sequels an Underworld crossover.
With all the talk about Aaron Eckhart, I feel like his career trajectory has actually been worse than Thomas Jane's. Because Thomas Jane, like, you see him in something, and generally he's pretty fucking good, and what he's in is like, all right, this was actually a passion project or whatever. Aaron Eckhart, it's just like, I'll be in it, I don't care.
Thomas Jane also pops up every now and then in something that's like relatively cool that keeps his
Mhm.
brand okay. Aaron Eckhart has not done a fucking thing since The Dark Knight that I
Yep.
can even recall, except maybe Battle Los Angeles. Like,
But even that was like, yeah, that was high profile, but it still did terribly.
yeah, this movie I don't even hate. I actually like that movie. I think the fucking aliens are really fucking cool. They're like these weird mishmash of just like meat and robotics. And it's kind of a fun gauntlet movie. I think it's fun. I will
It's got
say
interesting stuff.
the marketing campaign for that movie was fucking top notch. It was just this like all it was footage of the initial attack set to this song that's like the lyrics were "the stars don't shine on me," and it just was like this slow droning like acapella. There was no music. And so it's just shots of people getting run over by fucking aliens. It was really fucking good. And they included like the newspaper clippings of like the real Battle Los Angeles and like that news footage and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And you saw the movie, you're like, oh, this is like Transformers light, but it's still fun. Like, but it's nowhere near like the pathos that you were presenting.
Yeah, I rented that movie from my library years and years and years ago, so I haven't seen it since probably
But like Tom Jane will be like, he'll show up in the Predator, which
yeah.
by all counts is terrible. But like you're like Tom Jane was in a Predator movie. So
Well, that and
I mean,
Tom Jane is actually a really good actor, I think.
Mhm.
And when he's given the right script, he's great. But Aaron Eckhart, there's no helping him at this point.
No,
Like,
he just doesn't get good offers, and when he does get offered a good movie, the movie gets buried. It seems to me, and yeah, I think that this is just kind of the nature of making movies now, where if you're a working actor, you have to be in a movie that nobody has seen that you find in a red box.
Have you seen? I think it's Suspect Zero.
No clue what you're talking about.
Hang on, it's an Aaron Eckhart movie that if I'm thinking of it, like you should both watch it. I think it's Aaron Eckhart, Ben Kingsley.
There's been a lot of those. There's a movie with Henry Cavill and the girl from True Detective and Ben Kingsley.
Aaron Eckhart is on the trail of a serial killer who may have been part of the MK Ultra project and can actually remote view, and he's hunting other serial killers. And that's
so they base it on real life. They base this in fact, is what you're saying. They base in real events, things that actually happen.
Carrie Ann Moss is in that movie?
Carrie Ann Moss too. Yeah, it's I like it a lot. I think I had this on DVD for a long time when those were a thing. Yeah, like Aaron Eckhart is hunting for a serial killer who's hunting other serial killers using remote viewing and MK Ultra techniques.
Oh, this is I've seen this. I've seen that this movie exists many times. I've scrolled past it on Amazon and the thing is, like, he's killing other serial killers, right?
Yes, and he's basically surprising them with reveals about their personal life that he's obtained through remote viewing, basically.
Right.
Yeah, I thought it was super interesting when I saw it. That was a movie I held on to for a while.
Yeah,
he's done great movies, but After Dark Knight.
And again, it's the kind of movie where you expect like better things or bigger things, at least after the fact. And it's like, and he has tried. And I guess from his point of view, he would say, "Well, fuck all of you." I've been in what I'm proud of. Well, he's like, I was in Midway. Fuck you.
my favorite punching bag is still Sam Worthington, because Sam Worthington is in the biggest movie ever, and is essentially a nobody. Like, no one knows what Sam Worthington is.
And with international actors, it's even harder to say these things, because it's like, how many movies have they done in their native country or in other countries that we've never even heard of that they're extremely proud of? I think about that all the time with Australia, typically, where it's like, in Australia, they have their own film industry and they have hundreds, thousands of their own films that we never get to see. And an entire cadre of actors who have entire careers down there that, again, we've never even seen. And
which is funny because the reason we know Worthington is because, oh my god, look at his fucking hair.
Yes.
The reason we know who Sam Worthington is because of an Australian movie called Rogue that James Cameron saw.
Exactly. It's stuff like that, you know? It's like fucking not the Snowtown murders. Fuck.
What,
It's,
like Romper Stomper for what's his fucking face?
They made a
Brody
TV show about it. Dangerous Animals? Not Dangerous Animals. Predators. I can't remember what it's fucking
Wait,
called.
is it that Australian film that was about all the like entire family of criminals?
Yeah, Animal Kingdom. Kingdom, yeah.
Yes.
When you go back and watch that movie now, it's everybody that is like a gigantic star from Australia right now. It's fucking Benny Mendelsohn. It's fucking it's everybody. It's Sam Worthington, I believe, is in that movie as well.
Of course he is.
And it's crazy. It's like, oh, just one of these movies comes out, it makes it over here. Every major director sees it, and they're like, well, I'm gonna hire that guy in my next movie. I'm gonna put that guy in that movie.
Animal Kingdom was up for an Oscar, if I remember correctly. So yeah, that has a lot to do with why that cast got.
Which is why the Oscars are kind of important.
Kind of, yeah.
Whatever.
You can say whatever all you want, but like,
I believe they should be updated. Okay, that's my only thing. I think in their current form, they are very obsolete.
I don't disagree with you, actually. Yeah,
they're very masturbatory.
Ben Mendelsohn has been one of my favorite fucking discoveries of the last decade. That guy fucking rules and everything. I've seen him too.
He's great.
I watched him in Place Beyond the Pines with Ryan Gosling and Bradley Cooper. And what a fucking bummer of a movie.
It's a bummer movie, but I love it so much. I love it so very much.
Eric, have you seen that?
No, I haven't. I know, like, it definitely. I know it pulled a bait and switch with the trailer.
It's not really a bait and switch because you do spend a lot of time with certain characters you think may only be on screen for a limited amount of time. However,
yeah, but you definitely think it's going to be like a Heat or something, like a very like low budget Heat.
The pacing of the movie and the actual structure of it are fucking vicious. And like, it's a mean-spirited movie about the sins of the father. And man, it just like, when you think you're done hurting, the movie's like, nah, one more generation of fucking bullshit. Like,
well, it's the same director as Drive, isn't it?
No, it's he's done a bunch of movies that are like sad. Like he did Blue Valentine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Wait, I haven't seen that movie, but I know what it's about, and like I haven't had the courage to watch it yet because I've heard it's like like revenge movies. Well, guess what? You're gonna fucking feel bad about it.
Well, it's not even. I haven't seen it either, but it's more like it's a bad relationship movie that pulls no punches. It's just like, this is a relationship that is going to go sour, and it's going to go sour in the worst possible way, but in the most relatable way that you could possibly imagine. So it's going to pull on things that you have absolutely experienced in your own relationships that have gone bad. And I guess it doesn't let you off with a happy ending or any kind of like, oh, okay, well, things got better afterwards. It's like, no, it stayed bad. These two hurt and felt hurt afterwards the way that you kind of have to in real life. That's what I know from people I know who've seen the movie and they've told me about it, where it's just like, it's a real gut punch ending. But Derek C. France likes that a lot.
I saw that I wasn't expecting to get that from was The Gray with Liam Neeson. That movie fucking ripped out my spine and just made me cry like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know. I was gonna say the Ben Mendelsohn thing. I discovered him through that Netflix series. What is it? Bloodline. I think it is. Like, the first season of that was phenomenal, and he is so good in it as a terrible asshole. So like I encourage everybody to go check that out if you like Ben Mendelsohn, because
Well,
he's
the first place I saw him was Dark Knight Rises, and I saw Place Beyond the Pines after that, and I was like, that guy's fucking good.
Yeah,
I barely remember him in Dark Knight Rises. Like he wasn't
Your
even on my.
plan didn't work, my friend. The stock exchange is.
Yeah, but
no,
that's the thing.
it's hilarious watching him after the fact, after the Rogue Ones and all that. It's like, well, wow,
Yeah,
that's the same guy. Yeah. I can't. I think my first place meeting or seeing him in something might be the same place. Might be Dark Knight Rises, and I think I gave Bloodlines a shot. It's just it was one of those times where I only gave something an episode, and I didn't.
Oh,
but I was
yeah, no.
watching a bunch of stuff in a row. I was like, let's watch the pilot of this, and this, and I think I watched.
I can't do that.
I watched the pilot for The Expanse and that right next to each other, and The Expanse is one of my favorite shows of all time. So I should probably circle around to Bloodline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I know there's
start The Expanse because I haven't yet, and I keep hearing how fucking good it is.
It's really good.
Yeah. I don't know, and unless it's very specific sci-fi at this point, I can't get into it. I don't know what it is. Like I lost my sense of wonder for stuff like that. Like,
yeah,
no, I can't do it anymore.
I've lost the appeal that like space-faring shows would bring me. I don't know what it is. Like
right.
I don't have any lust for Star Trek. Like I don't have any like Star Wars is I know it's fantasy, but like
right,
that is like bleh.
I'll try to sell it one more time, and then I'm never going to talk about it again. I can't promise that, but
that's a lie.
For me, what I like about the show, and continue to like about the show as it sort of approached its end, is it offered the same thing that I liked about Game of Thrones during its best periods of time, but it never lost that. It never turned into a steaming pile of crap. In that you have these characters who have their own individual stories that are crossing and impacting each other, and you're seeing how their choices affect each other's choices. And occasionally, characters that you've really started to root for and love, their plots intersect in explosive ways, and when it happens, it's the most exciting thing on Earth. In exactly the same ways that it would be exciting in Game of Thrones, where you would get this feeling of, oh shit, these two characters they're about to meet, and I've wanted to know what it would be like to see them interact for so long, much in the same way that it was exciting for Marvel stuff for those first few episodes of Defenders. And it has that same feeling, especially for those first few seasons where you're having these interactions and you're excited to see how this character and this character who are completely separate from each other at the beginning of the show, how they bounce off of each other in interesting ways. And that's the thing where I'm like, okay, this is a fantastic show, because the way that they got there was so compelling and so interesting. And then once they've established this weaving of these characters over multiple seasons, as they started to wind down and characters start to pass, characters that you've grown attached to for years, I was so surprised by how affected I was by it. Again, in the way that I wanted to be affected towards the end of Game of Thrones. But they really stuck the landing when a character when that would happen. And yeah, it's a show where I think that they ended the best way that they could. I was a little bit like confused by it at first because it felt like there was other plot that should have been explored, but my understanding is that they ended where they could based off of the source material. So yeah, that's The Expanse. I think people should go check it out. But I understand.
Please don't take this in a condescending way. It good for you. Like it just it doesn't. I have no interest in it. Like I'm glad you like it, but yeah, I have no time to. Sure. I know myself well enough to know that unless something is spectacular, I'm not going to be able to jump into a new sci-fi show at all. At all. I know myself well enough now. Like, I was devouring Doctor Who and then just stopped. Just something turned off in my brain.
What's funny is I've gotten the urge to watch Doctor Who again, but not new Doctor Who. I want to go back and watch old Doctor Who.
Just watch the Tom Baker ones, and he's drunk 90% of the episodes.
That's always fun. I mean, Eric, I understand what you're saying. I think that The Expanse kind of gets there. I think that first season or so is like kind of bumpy, but I would put it up there with some of my favorite television of all time. Like, it's not junk food TV, I would say. It's some of my favorite TV that I've ever seen.
And don't get me wrong, like I'm coming from a place where I watched all of like Farscape with my neighbor when I was like in my early 20s because that show was amazing. We were also high as kites the whole time we were watching it, but still, it was good, and like I would devour almost anything sci-fi just because it's like, yes, more. But
sure,
that's not my thing anymore. I don't know what it is. I'm not that into sci-fi unless it's like super heavy, like based in reality sci-fi.
This is, though. That's the thing. The Expanse is actually very like reality based. Like, it's like if people are in their ship and they fly their ship too fast, they will get an aneurysm and die from it.
Well, I guess a better way to put it would be like Moorhead and Benson sci-fi.
No, I see what you mean. Like more like
grounded.
But still high concept. Yes. I understand what you mean. I think the show I think the show kind of does that. It's just not in the same direction. It's going for a different tone. But I understand. It's not a show that is easy to get into, certainly. Like I said, I think that first season takes a while to get off the ground. It feels very much like a very specific period of time for that network, for the Sci-Fi Network, when they've produced that show.
That's already putting me off then.
But again, I think once it gets into its stride, I would put it up against some of my favorite TV that I've ever seen, period. I would just, So,
like I said, in the least condescending way, that's cool. That doesn't sound like anything for me.
All right.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I know myself well enough, motherfucker.
No, I get it. Anyway, Thomas Jane's in that first season. He's great. So,
Actually, it's funny because this was the exact same conversation, I think, minus my dissenting opinion, that we had on one of our favorite things of the year a couple years back, where like you ended the episode out and you brought up The Expanse. And it was very much you explaining a lot of the same points that you have on it. Just like, it's a little rough in the beginning, but it gets so good. And we're all just like,
I get to it when I get to it.
I don't know, man. I mean, some of us know the character of Miller, and some of us don't know the character of Miller.
You are speaking another language right now, sir.
No, he plays a detective from Neptune. One of the moons. He plays a detective from one of Saturn's moons series or something. I can't remember which it is exactly. And he has like a fucking deformed spine, and he's got a fucking weird haircut, but he wears like 1930s hats because why not?
He's a stroke. He's from Neptune. He has spina bifida, and he wears 30s hats. All right, got it.
It's so good.
You're not selling it, my man. Sorry.
I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, you don't have to tell me anything else. It's just.
Have you watched Doom Patrol yet?
No.
I watched a large portion of the first season, and then I fell off of it because something else came up.
It's very good.
I know it is. I know it is.
Very good, man. Season 2 is just chef kiss.
Yeah, and I'm angry that I didn't watch any of season 2 yet because that's when they introduced Flex Mentallo, and I fucking love Flex Mentallo.
No, he's in season 1. He's at the
tail end.
Yes, he's the tail end of season 1.
Then I definitely didn't get as far as I thought.
And here's the thing: that show made me like, and someone got me a book of obscure villains for Christmas, and like one of the villains, like one of the characters shows up in that show early on is like in that book. But
Yeah.
like that show made me look up like Flex Mentallo and like fucking the street.
Man of Muscle Mystery. Yeah, Danny the Street. Yeah.
Danny the Street, like all these actual like DC characters that are part of this universe, and I was fascinated because all this stuff is so cool. I fucking love Danny the Street so
That's also
much.
all of those guys that you're talking about. I'm guessing you're talking about the guy that Alan Tudyk plays. Those were all created by Grant Morrison.
God, like, they're so interesting. Like, that's like Harlan. Like, you're missing out on like some of the coolest conceptual stuff. Like Danny the Street is a sentient, teleporting, gender-neutral street who communicates via like store message windows and like pieces of paper, but has a full-fledged personality and has a whole bunch of people who live on that street, and they're all gender fluid, happy ass people.
Well, yeah, from what I was reading, what season are they coming up to? 3?
They just finished 3, 4's on the way.
Okay, 4 is the one where I think they're going to introduce the what is it? Something Dadaists, where it's
3 is Dadaists.
Oh, it is? Okay, so season 3 introduced
3 has Missy from Doctor Who, Arlen.
But the Dadaists, or whatever they're called, because in the comics they have a specific name, but once again, a creation of Grant Morrison.
Yeah, like, everything is so fucking heady and weird, and like there's an episode where like they die and they go to the afterlife, and even that's fucking weird.
Yeah.
There's an episode where like
did Monsieur Mala and the Brain show up yet?
I think so.
The gorilla that's wearing a beret that carries around the super intelligent brain that orders him around.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's also in there. There was what the fuck? Spring Heel Jack, I think, is in it. No, he's not called that. I think he's called something else. But he shows up like I love Flint. No, is it Flint? The fucking robot man. Flint. All those characters they introduced me to, I love them to death. Yeah, Flex Mentallo is awesome. He's introduced through the Bureau of Normalcy. And there's a bunch of other characters they introduced to that too. So like in like one fell swoop, you get like all this weirdness that gets dropped on you. And like the guy who plays Flex Mentallo is the fucking best, and has a really good episode where he actually gets to demonstrate some range too, because something fucking devastating happens. But yeah, that show is so fucking good. Season 2 has sex ghosts.
Yep.
What?
So
excuse me?
There's an episode where oh shit, the actress. Why am I forgetting his names? Shit. Hang on.
The one who plays Crazy Jane?
No, the actress who gets turned into slime. Hang on. Why is this escaping me? I hate it so much. Elastigirl. Whose actual name I forget, but like she pulls Flex Mentallo aside and basically says like, do you have a flex in there that'll actually hit my G-spot, because I can't find where this is. And so he does. She orgasms so hard that she attracts a sex demon, who then comes to the house and unleashes sex ghosts, and they have to call sex ghostbusters to come deal with the problem while having a house party to celebrate the regeneration of Danny the Street. The show is incredible.
Yeah, and there's the point where everyone is orgasming because of Flex, and Clint is like, what's happening? What's going on?
Clint has no idea what's happening. He's a robot, so Niles Calder gives him MDMA by just dropping it into his brain, and he's rolling on ecstasy the entire time.
Yeah, show's crazy. Do we want to wrap up?
Yeah, I was gonna say my eyeballs are filling with
what?
Swimming. They're swimming. That's the word. That's
what an odd way to. Man, my eyeballs are filling up. Oh, you better get to bed.
Yeah, they're getting full.
They're swimming, as in you're full of yeah.
Good attempt at a save. Good attempt.
That's what I meant to say. You son of a bitch.
Attempt. No, I know what you're trying to say, but I just like the idea of saying, like, my eyes are filling up. Oh, you better get some sleep.
Okay, yeah.
Have some more wine.
My eyes are dry.
You can tell me what to do.
He says as he drinks more wine.
Yeah, clunk.
I put it down because I knew you were going to say that. I'm in your head.
Okay, one more, man.
Job.
I have nothing to plug, and that's kind of liberating, to be honest.
There you go.
Yeah, we haven't brought that up yet, but yeah, that's
no, it's not a thing anymore. This is where you'll find me exclusively, and anything else that comes from this or me directly. So there you go. Where I'm going to be.
And on that note, if you're going back and listening to older episodes, don't.
No, you should.
Don't do that.
But don't start beginning. Start most recently and work your way back. That's the best.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or go to the playlist that I've shared many times that is just the After Darks. Just do that.
Well, I'd say you could probably start around even before the Justice League, like maybe the Defenders, or like you guys covering like the Netflix Marvel shows. That might be a good place to start.
I mean, if you want to watch the TV reviews, yeah, but even then, if you're doing the TV reviews, just watch what sounds interesting to you, or not watch, but listen to what sounds interesting. If it doesn't sound interesting, don't do it. Just don't.
You had to be watching the shows at the time to have some of the stuff we're talking about make sense.
Yes.
But don't worry, we have like 200 After Darks, so don't worry about that.
Yeah, that's why I say just go to the After Darks, because the After Darks are fun and free, and even the early ones, they at least they don't sound bad, like they were recorded in a trash can. You know, I mean, some of them probably don't sound great. I haven't gone back and listened to any of the earliest ones, but people are on that show that aren't on the show anymore, and they're at their best, I would say, the people that are no longer here. And it's the best way, I think, to listen to the show, because it's also most indicative of what we've kind of become. So yeah, that's what I say. People, if you're gonna listen, I will warn our rapport that we've developed also, it's there even when Eric isn't there yet. It's there more in those After Darks than in anything else we did. And movie specials. Movie specials, of course. I stand by every movie special we've ever done. Period. Well, not every movie special. But
you want to talk about that Wonder Woman movie special?
I stand by that one especially because I edited it. But there are other ones that I would not stand by. So yeah.
Yeah. I will warn anybody going back and listening to older stuff that I think it's our first 3 a.m. files that someone was either eating something or crinkling some sort of paper the whole time they were recording, so you can hear it in the background. So that's why for myself I've kind of started a hard and fast rule of if I'm going to eat or drink anything, I mute myself.
Yeah, I've done the same thing because I got too annoyed by the times where I was like, "Oh, that was me that was doing that." So I try to stick with. There's also the thing of earlier recordings. The recording setup was different, and it was much harder for me to mute myself. Discord has made it a lot easier for us to mute our own tracks. So beware of that.
And also, you'll get to the introduction of Dog Reporter Otis. Yeah. Anyways, Arlen, did you have anything you wanted to plug?
Honestly, it's the episode that when people discover the episode, the one I can't wait for them to get to is the one where there was fireworks going off by your
yeah.
And it sounds like you're being assaulted.
It sounds like I'm in 1980s Beirut.
It really, it's a fucking hilarious. That one, and the one where my roommates, when one of my roommates' dad was there, and it sounded like we had an audience that was reacting to our bits. Yes. That one, I don't know what episode that is, but I'm sure it's amazing to listen to now.
It's somewhere there. And go listen to our talks about Infinity War and stuff like that, and see how wrong we were about some stuff, and see how right we were about some stuff too.
Yeah. We got some stuff did that. Correct. Yeah. Well, also there were leaks, so that helped. But
but this was like talking about just how we thought it was going to end after the first trailer. Like after the first official trailer dropped, like we were all talking about stuff, and I know myself and a few other people are like, oh, this is going to be a dark ending. Like, I don't care what anybody thinks, this is going to be dark. It was before they'd even officially announced there being a second film. Like when they're like, no, there's not going to be an Infinity War 2. So
right, they were very nebulous about what the next. They said that it was going to be an Avengers, but what it actually was kind of up in the air. Yeah. My plugs. We should be finishing up Bond very soon. On the LHP. So go listen to that. Die Another Day is forthcoming. And also me and Eric Sayor, we did just a general catching up episode since we've been trying to push Bond through. We haven't been able to talk about a lot of this stuff, so listen to that. And we also did a little bit of a look forward to stuff that we're excited about in this year, 2022. It's not most of the stuff that you would expect us to be excited about. I don't think we talked a lot about the superheroes or anything like that. Yeah, it's lots to talk about, stuff like The Northman and
yes,
yeah, exciting little indie movies, A24 and that stuff. So yeah, go listen to that, and yeah, that should be it for me.
I'm Eric Fedorchak. You can find me at Eric_Fedor. There's pictures of dogs and food and cats and comics. Floating around the Phantom Zone. TBD with what's going on with that. And outside of that, go watch Station 11. Like, it's don't be afraid of it being pandemic related, because I hate to break it to everybody, there's going to be a lot of stuff that's pandemic related going forward.
But none of it will be as good as this. None of it. None of. This is the high point of stuff that is pandemic related. So yeah. Definitely.
But yeah, I hate to break it to anybody who is like, oh, I don't want to watch any pandemic related stuff. You're not going to be able to watch stuff for a little while then, because there's going to be a glut of it coming out, and I'm guessing sooner rather than later.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's it.
All right, I think that's the show.
I think it is.
Bye.